Mercedes, the team that once dominated for 8 seasons in a row from 2014 to 2021, has now fallen from grace, and boy, they fell hard. After a troublesome 2022 season with a concept that literally everyone made fun of, including Mercedes fans, they are on a comeback in this season with a new concept and new upgrades. But have they made enough progress to challenge the likes of McLaren, Aston Martin, and Ferrari? Let's see what Mercedes has planned to bring after the summer break. Red Bull, with its RB19 and Max Verstappen combination, seems unstoppable, with no one even close to challenging them. Now I know every fan is asking the FIA to change the rules to make the field more competitive, but truth be told, the racing is closer than ever before. What I mean by that is, if we ignore Red Bull, then the battle behind is super close with teams like Ferrari, Mercedes, Aston Martin, and McLaren. So I would say the regulations did work perfectly, just that the genius of Adrian Newey is unmatched with any other personnel on the grid. However, Mercedes seem to be looking to make a comeback after the summer break. Although they might not be able to beat Red Bull, they aim to get a podium finish in every remaining race, and they might be able to do so. Mercedes Chief Technical Officer Mike Elliott highlighted what we may expect from the team during the summer break and the second half of the F1 2023 campaign during their post-Belgian Grand Prix debrief. Well, if we start with the summer break, we can't do very much at all. We are not allowed to by regulation. We are forced to take a 2-week break with no development of the cars, and I think for most of the factory that is going to be a well-needed break. Something that actually helps them in the second half of the season when we need to bring all of that energy, bring all the upgrades we possibly can to the car. When asked about the Mercedes plans for the upgrades after the summer break, and also if the team is focusing on the 2024 car, Elliott explained, "In terms of what we can expect from the second half of the season, we need to keep pushing. We need to keep pushing because we want to learn more about this car so we can take that into the winter and into the development of next year's car, but also we want that fight for second in the championship, so we will keep bringing some upgrades to the car, keep fighting for that second position." Through the first half of 2023, Red Bull has been in a league of their own, winning all 12 Grand Prix, while Mercedes has been fighting Aston Martin, Ferrari, and most recently McLaren to remain at the front of the chasing group. Mercedes debuted their latest upgrade package for the W14 in Belgium, the final race before the summer break, with Hamilton finishing P4 behind the Red Bulls and Ferrari's Charles Leclerc. The upgrades that Mercedes brought at Spa mainly involved geometric changes to the side pod and bodywork around it. Firstly, after dumping the zero-pod concept earlier this season, they tend to follow the path of that of Aston Martin and Red Bull with massive side pod inlets. As you can see in Belgium, they further extended the inlet of the side pod, vertically enlarging it with a smoothed-out curve at the bottom half. Apart from that, they also took inspiration from the Aston Martin's design, with channels that follow throughout the side pod. These tunnel-like sections, as it is called, channels the air over the side pods and towards the rear suspension and beam wing setup. In addition to that, they also have this unique floor stay, which unlike other teams goes through the bodywork section of the side pod and is connected to the gearbox. By doing this, Mercedes aims to eliminate any bit of porpoising that is left in the car, which Hamilton complained about in Austria and again in Spa. More on that later in the video. They also introduced major changes to the rear wing. The main plane had a shallower angle as expected of any low-drag rear wing. All in all, these upgrades tend to reveal the development path that Mercedes intend to follow, and it somewhat closely resembles that of Aston Martin and Ferrari, perhaps a combination of both. But while the development war eventually slows in the second half of the season, Hamilton feels there is still room for teams to tweak their challenges and shake up the chasing pack once more. He anticipates a tough struggle from McLaren and Ferrari, while also acknowledging Aston Martin's seeming loss of ground in recent rounds, with the team conceding that their enhancements for Canada had confused the waters for them a little as they pulled through the misunderstanding surrounding their AMR23. Hamilton said to the media, "I don't know how much development people will be doing in the second part of the season, but I think there will be movement. I mean, I don't know what happened to Aston Martin. They've taken a step back, but for sure the McLarens will be strong in the second phase. Ferrari and us, we're all very, very close. So depending on the track, I'm sure there'll be some movement of positions for us all. After complaining about bouncing issues in Austria, and after a race where he said Ferrari had the upper hand this weekend, Hamilton complained of more problems in Spa. Wolff revealed that the W14 was bouncing literally on every straight. This ghost of Mercedes' history needs to be exorcised during the second half of F1 2023 before Mercedes can properly shift their attention to the Challenger in 2024. I've just seen the data and spoken to the drivers, Wolff told media after the Belgian GP. The main limiting factor today and yesterday was the bouncing. The car is just bouncing literally on every straight. Even Blanchimont was a corner that Lewis had to lift, which is an easy flat normally, and you're bouncing on the straight, you overheat the tires on the braking. So that is a vicious circle, and was the main limiting factor this weekend, and it's frustrating to check out on the holidays like this. But tomorrow and after tomorrow, we're going to understand more based on the data. Mercedes go into the summer break, still P2 in the constructors' standings, 51 points ahead of Aston Martin, a place behind. Hopefully they will choose the correct development path and gain massive advantage after the summer break. Maybe get a podium or even a win after the return. Who knows? So what do you think? Will Mercedes make gains and challenge for podiums, or is this just a fluke like their customer teams, Aston Martin and McLaren? Let us know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell icon to never miss another upload from us. See you in another video.